All right, hello you guys, and welcome to Mr. and Mrs. Social Studies. Today I'm going to be taking you through how to create a free product on Teachers Pay Teachers, starting from the very beginning here and going all the way through to uploading it on TPT. Last video, I talked about how to create your account on TPT and a little bit of a more general overview, but this video is going to be more specific because I really want to make it easy for you to get started with Teachers Pay Teachers. And when you have a new store, your first product does need to be free. And again, the free product is designed to help give your buyers insight into what they can expect from you and what they can expect, like the level of quality that they can expect from your store. So that being said, I am working in PowerPoint here. I have found that as I've gotten more into TPT, it's definitely the way to give you more freedom over your products. Of course, it doesn't mean that making a product through Microsoft Word or through a different program is wrong. I just have found the most success with doing it this way. So that being said, you can see here that I have already set up my template. Now to achieve this, I went to File, Page Setup, and to achieve the size, so it's like a piece of paper, I adjusted the width to 8.5 inches and the height to 11 inches. And then what I did, I formatted the background to be red. Then I went up here to shapes. I inserted a just rectangle or whatever, and I formatted that so it was blue. I added a text box up here for the title. And then down here, I also inserted a shape again. This time I chose the rounded edges one. But again, you've got a lot of flexibility with different shapes. And then I added the text box there as well and put it in the font I wanted. I also inserted an image from File that was my logo, and then just added our store name down here. Nothing too elaborate, but this has overall made our store and our products look a lot better. So that's how I got to this part. Now I'm going to fill in the information for my specific freebie here, which is going to be comparative timeline projects. And just one thing I will not forget to do is go to File, Save As. And when you go to the Save As part, that just keeps your template set up so you can start fresh with a template every single time and you don't have to rebuild it. So I'm just going to save this as comparative timeline project. All right, so as you can see here, I have now made my title page. I added comparative timeline projects to the title. I included 2 images of some past comparative timelines to show people a little bit what this looks like here. And then I also created my subtitle here talking about what it is. This project is great for assessment and helping students understand historical context. So I am now ready to move on to actually putting together the assignment. So I'm going to go ahead and add a new slide. And then when I add the slide, I'll get rid of these 2 parts because I don't need them. And since I actually did not have a info sheet about this, I am going to actually just be typing it right on this document. So I'm going to first, now that I've got my page set up, all right, so on this blank document, I'm going to first go to Insert, I'll select Text Box. This will just be for my title, just to hold my page. Oops. Have that there, and then I'm going to also have my main text. Okay, so again, no formatting here. I'll go ahead and switch that to the font that I purchased here. No, it's not up there. Since it's title, we'll make it a little bit bigger. So this will be comparative timeline projects. I'm going to kind of type out the details for an assignment. Now, one thing that's really important to keep in mind with the free products, again, this is not something that you're going to spend tons and tons of time on. You're not going to have it be super elaborate. What I anticipate is that I'll put this page together. This will be the teacher guide. I'm going to put a page together with student examples because since this was something that I was very proud of at my past school and the kids did a great job with, I did take pictures of examples. Anytime you can get student work examples is wonderful. I need to do a better job of doing that, but regardless, I'm going to have a second page with the picture examples, and then I'll have a page about how to set up your poster. So with it, it shouldn't be too elaborate, but right now I'm just going to focus on this text page. So I will check in with you once that is finished. All right, guys. So now I've had a chance to put together my comparative timeline project first page. So this is the first part where the teacher guide, again, I set it up very simply. This is all just like one big text box here. And then this is still the same text box, but I just skipped many lines, obviously. I did insert a picture, so I went up to picture, insert picture from file, and selected one of the student examples that showed what I was explaining. Since with this, it's a bit more of an abstract thing, so I think the pictures really help, and just kind of explained what I did down here below and kind of how it works. So this is the first page. I'm going to continue the next slide very similar. So I'm actually just going to go to the slides on the side, going to right click it and duplicate the slide. And then you can see here, this is the second slide. Obviously I'm going to not have the exact same information written, but it's nice because the shape is already set up for you. The fonts are ready to go. So I'm going to basically do more explaining about how to get it set up here on this page. So I will check in with you once I get this page formatted. All right, guys, just touching base again, I've done some more work. Previously, I had this first page done, but now I have added a second page. This goes over more details about setting up the comparative timeline. I added a different image, caption, and then give the teacher a little bit of an idea of what the student assignment looks like. I did put together a handout for an optional handout for the teachers as well. I personally never had the handout, so I just whipped this up right now, basically going through the steps that I would tell my students if I was going through it. But this way, if the teacher wants to have a printable, they can. I also put together kind of a sample illustration of what it looks like on the comparative timeline, so that is all set up. So now that I have this, my assignment is done. I'm going to real quick read through and check for any typos, but then I'll be ready to upload it to Teachers Pay Teachers. So I have now gone through and checked to make sure that I do not have any typos. I did have to actually make a few changes as I was reading through. And the final thing I have to do before I create my PDF is add copyright information. So real quick, on the bottom of each thing, I'm going to insert a text box. So if you do a parenthesis, C, and then the other parentheses, it will do the copyright thing. I'm going to make it very small. I'll usually make it like a gray, so it's not as pronounced. And then I'll just size it accordingly. It is 2018 now, so this is my first time, I guess, officially writing 2018. And this is actually something that makes sense to do earlier on in your document, because then when you duplicate the pages, it will show up in the same spot. But since I did not do that, I am doing that now. It's not perfect, but it's about in the same spot, so that's fine. Again, this is a free product, so some of those little details are not necessarily as big of an issue. All right, I'm going to save that, and then now it is time to get ready for uploading. So I'm going to go to File, Print, I'm going to save this document as a PDF. Okay, here we go. Save as PDF. Comparative timelines. Still can't save it on my desktop for whatever reason. I'll adjust that later. Perfect. So now let's go back to Teachers Pay Teachers. All right, so on Teachers Pay Teachers, we're going to go to Add New Product. I'm going to upload resource. And now I'm going to go through. So upload product file. I'm going to choose the file. PT template folder. Choosing the PDF version. I attest that this is all my original work. And since it's a free file, I am not going to do a preview file, but I will show you in my next video, the part 3, for a paid file, how I create previews. So that's doing its thing. I'll move on. Now, with title, it's very important that we make sure the title is detailed and think about what teachers will be searching for. You want your resource to be like the title of it to be a clear picture of what it actually is. And also, it can be a little bit more challenging if you're doing something a bit more abstract. You want to make sure it's search friendly. So I'm writing comparative timeline project, but because I don't think that the comparative timeline part is really search friendly, we can check that. Let me open up. If I type in comparative, again, one hand typing very slow here. Comparative timeline. Does it even exist on here? Let's see. Okay, well actually, it's more of a thing than I expected. However, I don't know if it's a similar thing to what I'm doing. It looks like Education with Doc Running is a group that does this. But regardless, it looks like no one's doing it exactly like me. So I'm going to, again, just like I was here before, comparative timeline project. But then, just to make it more clear to people what it is, I'm going to describe it as assessment for, or maybe I'll even say history assessment for a thematic approach. I don't know if that's a little bit too wordy, but what I think will be better than just saying comparative timeline project is that it's clear, okay, this is a history assessment because this is intended to be used in a history classroom. And then for a thematic approach, or maybe I'll say for the thematic classroom. Again, you never know exactly what the ideal approach will be, but. And then for the description, maybe it's a little bit lazy, but I usually will just go back into my resource and then copy however I described it from the resource. So, especially since this one's free. So I'm going to go back in my source here, and I have the teacher guide. I'm going to include, actually I'll just do these first parts here. And again, the more you can include in the description, the better. And then I'm also, what I need to include here is basically what it includes. So I'm going to real quick type that up and then show you what I wrote. So it didn't end up taking too long to actually add in the details about what this is. This free product includes a teacher guide with samples of comparative timelines, tips to set up a comparative timeline, and a student handout that can be used to help your students create their comparative timeline. Whatever you're doing, it's so important to make sure you're very clear about what it is. Now, this is a free resource, so maybe it's not as big of a deal, but especially for your paid products, there is nothing worse than when you have a product and someone can't figure out what it's going to do for them, or maybe they buy it and then they realize it's the wrong thing and they're kind of irritated. And there's nothing better than the teacher reading through and being like, this is exactly what I need. This is exactly what I want. I'm going to buy this. So being very clear is super important. So I've got my description here. It's about 3 paragraphs. And remember, all of these written things here for your description can be used to help it rank higher in the search on Teachers Pay Teachers. Obviously, things are ranked by how well they've sold. So that's where materials that have been on Teachers Pay Teachers longer or have done very well recently or from bigger sellers tend to make their way towards the top. But the more specific you are, that can really help you, rank higher. So we've got that. We're going to pick resource type. This is an assessment. It's also an activity. I don't know all of these super well, so I'm going to kind of scroll through and see what else it might be here. Always try to do the maximum number of things unless there's really none that apply. In some way, it's a graphic organizer, but I might change that. It is a poster, so I'm going to get rid of activity and go for poster. It is a project, though, too, so I'm going to get rid of graphic organizer. Oh, thematic unit plan. Okay, we're going to get rid of... Oh, gosh, this is hard. There's so many good ones. Well, it's not really a thematic... Well, it's kind of a thematic unit plan. So you just kind of have to figure out what works best. All right, there we go. And then as far as the grade levels, technically I think it's not really grade specific, but I feel like it is best for middle school or high school. I suppose it could work with younger students, but I feel like when you have more dedicated time to history is where it will be most helpful. And then go for social studies or history here. U.S. history and world history are the things I'm going to plug in here. Perfect. I'm not going to hook up any standards to it. As far as teaching duration, I will say 1 year, even though it's not an entire full year curriculum. It's something that extends throughout the whole year. And then there are 5 pages. No answer key. It is a free resource, so then I won't have to fill in any of these. I'll make the product active, and I'm going to go ahead and let the thumbnails generated by TPT, they look good here. I don't have to upload any of my own, and I'm going to submit. Now, once that submits, the product here is live. It looks great, and what I'm going to do is go back to my store. And so I guess it's not showing up yet since it just was uploaded for most recent. All right, so on my store page, if we look at the free download, we'll notice it is a student inventory. This is like for back to school. So with this particular product, it's still a good freebie in the sense that it can help people get to know my store and know that I've got good quality products, but it's not really going to be getting much search traffic right now to help new people discover the store. So I am going to actually switch out this product I just created and have that be my free download that's featured. So to do that, or if you're starting your store, you'll need to have this be the very first product you upload. For that, I'm going to go to my product listings, and I see that the item I just uploaded, comparative timeline project. I'm going to go to quick edit. For this project, I can check to make this my primary free item. And now, once I update that, I can go back to my store, and now we can see that the comparative timeline project is listed here as my free download. So because of that, we have it all set up now for the new product. And it will probably take some time to show up here, but that is a little bit about how you are able to create a free product on Teachers Pay Teachers. Now, if you're finding this helpful, the next video coming up is going to be how to create a paid product, because there are a couple additional steps, as well as figuring out pricing, which I know can be kind of confusing. So we're going to talk all about that in the next video. If you're not yet subscribed to this channel and you're finding this helpful, or you enjoy either teacher vlogs or social studies related content, feel free to hit subscribe. You can also click on our logo on this screen here, and we look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Bye.